Have you ever known that you were changing on the inside, but noticed that your choices were still lining up or serving the old you? Does this sound familiar? I know I have changed, but I keep choosing like my old self. I want to live differently, but my old patterns keep pulling me back. Today, we are continuing in Dimension 3 of the Spiritual Success Identity Pathway of Alignment. Alignment, beloved, is not just about making different choices. Alignment requires stability. Enough stability in your authentic spiritual identity. I coined the phrase SAS, which is your strongest, authentic spiritual self, your God self, your true self, your essential self, whatever language can work for you. But when we talk about your spiritual identity, we're talking about original identity. We're talking about authentic identity. Yes? So when we start looking at and embarking on this dimension of alignment requires stability, right? So it's not just about making different choices. It requires stability enough in your authentic spiritual identity to choose, watch this, to choose truth. When the old identity still feels familiar, I want you to just look at that because, beloved, write this down. Every choice is an agreement with an identity. Let's take a good healing deep breath in and exhale. Relax from the crown of the head to the sole of your feet. Remember, we breathe to reset and regulate the nervous system, because if your nervous system do not feel safe, you're not going to move. You're not going to change. You're not going to transform. You're not going to take the action. So we come here, we connect in together, we breathe to reset the nervous system. We breathe to ground and anchor ourselves in our body, because when you're continually living outside of your body, in your head, up in space, then you're not present. Remember, the present moment is the place of power. And number 3, we breathe to tap in to the rich inner life, to eternity, to the infinite realm that's full of everything you desire. So when I say take a deep healing breath in, we're breathing through the nose. And when you inhale, your abdomen goes out. And when you exhale, your abdomen comes in or contract. That's a healing breath. That air is not just plain oxygen. It is prana, chi. It's life force. It is the God element that's bringing regulation to your entire body. So again, when we start talking about alignment is not just about making different choices. Alignment is about becoming stable in your authentic spiritual identity so that you can make choices based on the truth of who you are now. Because again, every choice, beloved, is an agreement with an identity. So I want to ask you a question right up front early on. I want you to take a moment and think about it. What are you agreeing with? Every choice is an agreement with an identity. And so today we're here to activate you so that you begin making choices from your authentic spiritual identity, your strongest spiritual identity, right? Your SAS, strongest spiritual authentic identity. We want you walking in your SAS. And alignment is agreement, cooperation, and stabilization with the truth of who you are. Take a moment and breathe. Let's check in. Great Grand Rising, Reese, Lisa. Thank you, Jewel. Thanks for joining us live today, and all the other folk that I cannot see, and even you watching the replays. So happy to have you with us. All right. So let's go a little bit further because I really feel a strong activation for you today. And I want you to hear this. And there are some things that I intentionally repeat because what? Repetition is the mother of all learning. But this is the activation today, is that we want you to be able to shift into choosing from your new authentic identity. All right. And I'm going to break it down so that we'll know exactly what is happening and why. So when I asked the questions early on, does this sound familiar? Do you hear yourself saying, I know that I change inside. I can feel that I change, but I keep choosing like my old self. I know that I'm different, but my old patterns keep pulling me back into the familiar scenario. All of this is happening because the old self may still feel safer to you only because it has had more practice. I want you to hear that. The old identity still feels familiar because you've had more practice. You've probably lived most of your life in that identity, right? The old identity has repetition behind it. It has history behind it. I want you to hear me. It has emotional memory behind it. It has nervous system familiarity. It has relational reinforcement. That one is powerful because there are people that you are connected to that's reinforcing your old identity. The way you talk with them, the way you interact, the things that you all talk about, the places that you go. So you may feel that you have changed and you know you have changed, but that old identity have all of this stacked up. It has survival identity evidence. It has all of this evidence. So when you begin to align with truth, because you awaken and you start remembering who you truly are, you start being honest about what's good for you and what's not good for you. When you begin to align with the truth, the authentic self may feel like it's not real because it's new, because it's tender. I'm telling you something really important here. This is where many of us end up being stuck in a loop. You've awakened, you've become aware, you've awakened, you see the truth, you understand the truth, but for some reason now, you're not choosing and making choices from that truth of that identity. So let's say it like this and be real. Rather it's relationship, rather it's finance, rather it's health and wholeness. It doesn't matter what it is. When you make a choice for your new identity, you have to begin to stabilize that because it's tender. It's new. You don't have a whole lot of experience and practice, right? You may be awakened, but not yet stabilized. You may be recognizing what you need to shift and stay away from, but you have not yet had enough practice doing that. So I want you to breathe that in. I want that settling in your cells and your cellular memory so that long after this teaching, this transmission is over with, you still have this recorded in your cells. This is why alignment must include stabilization, not just action, not just choices, not just do better, but the sacred work of becoming steady in the self that can live from the new truth. All right, I want y'all to talk back to me. How many of you know you should be experiencing and living so much more? And this is not about condemnation, right? But we all, even I should be living so much more. So you've already made a declaration. Rather, it is to be financially thriving. Rather, it is to have health and wholeness and have a great quality of life, an amazing quality of life, to be with the right partner, to be in a loving, beneficially, a mutual relationship. You've already made the choice that this is who I am. I see my gifts. I see my ability. I am smart. I am brilliant. People love me. But why am I still choosing from that old identity? Again, listen, the overgiver have years of practice of giving, being over responsibility, always stepping in, feeling like you have to solve everyone else's problem. That's the fixer, right? The fixer had years of experience solving problems. The strong one have years of practice enduring, being the strong one, standing strong no matter what. The quiet one have years of experience of disappearing. Y'all don't want to talk back to me today. Come on, talk back to me today. All right? The people pleaser have years of practice adjusting. Man, you know how to weave and bob and adapt. You are a chameleon like none other. People pleaser. So when your authentic spiritual identity, again, that's the true you, the God self, the person you came here to be beyond your physical experience. When your authentic spiritual identity begins to rise, it may be true, but it may not feel familiar to you. So put this in your notes. I'm becoming comfortable with the unfamiliar. I'm becoming comfortable with the unfamiliar. I am now, or you could say it like this, I am now comfortable with the unfamiliar. This is something that's, again, it's important. I found myself in this many times because watch this. Your old identity has a frequency that feels right to you, that feels familiar to you. But now you're waking up and you're recognizing that a lot of things that I've engaged in, I tolerated, right? I've adjusted to, that's not really me. That's not really who I am. But you've lived your whole life with a certain vibrational frequency. You know how your body should feel. You know the thoughts that you've allowed to run freely in your mind. They may not have been benefiting you, but you've allowed it. And again, this is not for shame. This is not to beat yourself up. We don't do that. This is sacred awareness. There were many times as I was awakening, I hit pockets of when I didn't feel like myself. And before I realized what was happening, I used to make myself go back to that familiar feeling so that I could feel sort of like at peace. Without knowing, I'm searching for and reinforcing my old identity again. And so when we do that, then you wonder why you're still making the same choices. It's because you went back to what was familiar. So when this happens, I want you to hear this. It doesn't mean that you're out of alignment. It means that you are now learning how to stabilize in a truth that your old self was never trained to live in. I said a mouthful right there. I want you to feel that in your body. Sometimes when you're feeling uncomfortable, it doesn't mean that you're out of alignment. It just simply means that you are stabilizing in a truth now that your old self was not trained in. That right there is enough for you to take and run. Y'all talk back to me. Is any of this making any sense to you today? Can you identify with any of this? Because I'm telling you something that is golden. This is platinum. Because when you start allowing yourself to become stable in your new identity, that's when you're going to start see things happening consistently, not hit and miss, not get a blessing or a breakthrough to come through and then you go a couple of years with nothing else happening. No, this is what we're breaking up today. All right. So you're not out of alignment now. You're just learning how to practice living in this new identity, because alignment, again, is not only about choosing differently, it's about becoming rooted and grounded in your authentic identity where you can start making choices from that. All right. So how are we going to do this, Dr. E? So glad you asked. Now, number one, you've heard me mention this with every teaching tool that I have given you. You keep hearing me talk about the sacred pause. I want you to perk up and listen. That pause, you taking a breath, you get creating space to begin to think and feel differently, is going to make all the difference in the world. So number one, again, there are 3 points that you have to choose to come into full alignment and agreement. Number one is the pause. The sacred pause between the old pattern that's pulling for you and the aligned response. So there's 2 things. There's always choices. Every choice splits a timeline. Every choice splits a timeline. I had an opportunity. I had a choice. This was just last week. And this is how things work. I said I was going to go somewhere, be in this amazing environment with lots of people that I knew, right? From the old day. So Thursday, I didn't go. I said, oh, maybe I'll go Thursday. I'll hear my old favorite preacher, da-da-da-da-da. I didn't go Thursday. So I said, okay, I'm definitely going to go tomorrow. Then the next day, Friday, we ended up having the residue from the Canadian fires. It was horrible. I went out, the air quality was horrible. I could barely breathe, right? Had to put a mask on. That's how bad it was. That's all day Friday. Then we had a bad thunderstorm in the evening. I didn't go. I'm saying all of that to say this. When I should have gone, Thursday. That's when I said I was going to go. But then I had pulling back and forth, right? So all the stuff that I said up top, this is why I love coming here. I love sharing, because we're doing this in real time, right? And I'm not sitting here because I have all the answers or I'm perfect in everything. No, I'm just a few paces ahead. Being consciously aware of all of this, watch this. This is how we split timelines. Me making the choice to actually get up and go on Thursday would have opened a different timeline. A different timeline. Who knows what could have happened and transpired had I put myself there. Because I made a choice and I stayed in this environment, I split the timeline for this. So now I'm experiencing what's here. What is what? Familiar. What is routine? What is habit? Y'all talk back to me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me talking to you today? Come on, talk back. Let me see what y'all saying in the comments. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, Reese. Amen. Yes. Listen, what I'm saying is so vital and so relevant to how you're going to start making changes. So the pause, number one, the sacred pause. Before you say yes, pause. Before you explain yourself, pause. God, we're going to break up some old stuff that's keeping you from your money, keeping you from your honey, keeping you from your quality of life that you know is yours, keeping you from the impact that you're here to make. Before you shrink, hide, pause. Before you react, before you cuss them out again, just pause. Before you return to what no longer fits, pause. You know what that pause asks? That pause asks this question: am I about to choose from fear, familiarity, or truth? That's what that pause is going to give you. I'm getting ready to choose right now. And again, every choice is an agreement with some identity, right? This one practice can interrupt years of unconscious repetition. Repetition is the mother of all learning. Repetition is what trains the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is what calls the shots. It sends everything through the nervous system, the brain, the gatekeeper, which is the brain, right? That won't let you get past certain levels. Come on, I come to break this up today. Rabbi, yeah, I feel this deep in my spirit. We're breaking up fallow ground today. In my community, we have initiated the spiritual success identity pathway, right? In this pathway, this track, these same first 5 foundational transformation tracks of awareness, awakening, alignment, adaptation, activation, and then there are four more dimensions to this, right? Now it's all about, I've developed all of these quick tools, quick fire tools that will bring rapid response, something that you can practice in a minute or less. That's going to bring change. So, beloved, if you can practice the sacred pause just right before you're going to choose. Hi, Amanda Lee. So good to see you. Listen, I've been loving on you and hugging on you all in the spirit realm, and I hope you felt the love. All right? Yes, I'm going to give you a big virtual hug today. All right? So I talk about this all the time, but now it's about the rapid creation tools, rapid transformation tools, right? That you can practice in a minute or less. So the sacred pause, always pause, always pause. Before you say yes, take that breath and pause. Before you start explaining yourself, pause. Before you shrink and hide, pause. Before you react, pause. Pause, pause. Pause before you return to what no longer fit. We want you to pause and then ask the question: am I about to choose from fear, familiarity, or am I going to respond from truth? This 1 3-second practice, because that's all it'll take for you to take a good breath in. Well, maybe 8 seconds, because you're going to breathe in, you're going to hold it and take it out, right? My whole point is, in the span of a good healing breath, you activate the sacred pause and you check in and you make the appropriate response, not an old familiar reaction. And this one practice, again, it'll start interrupting years of unconscious identity repetition. So what happens when the old self starts pulling on you? When it's time to make a choice, we want to pause and rely on truth. All right? Point number 2. When you pause, you want to make an honest choice. I feel this so strong. My whole mouth is full of speaking in other tongues right now. Right? When you pause, you make an honest choice. The honest choice is the one that aligns with what you know within. The truest version of yourself, right? your sass. That pause is going to allow you to make an honest choice. This is point number 2. That honest choice, beloved, I don't want you to take it for granted. It may be small. It may be quiet, coming from that still small voice. That's what you want, right? It may not be impressive to anyone else. This is a part of truth that I'm living for myself in these days, is that I'm not doing anything to impress a group, a certain class, a certain environment. I'm not doing any of that. I may be carrying my wealth in a quiet and understated way. That's fine. That's what we mean by it may not be impressive. What you know, you may have just stumbled on some awesome revelation that's going to change and shift the world. Can you be quiet until your spirit tells you it's time to release that and share it? Right? That pause may not be impressive to anyone else, but it's honest. That is what we want to get to. Having it to be honest, responding honest. It may look like you have to say something like, I need time to respond to this. That's honest, because you really don't know. You're getting ready to say yes based on that old people-pleasing identity. You're getting ready to say, yes, you'll take over this ministry based on that religious conditioned identity. No, take that sacred pause. I need time to respond. That doesn't work for me. Honest, right? I'm not available for that. And I love saying not for that, because it doesn't say that you're not available at all. It says you're not available for that. Y'all, I'm getting ready to run around the corner. Somebody jump up and take a victory lap for me. Let me know you did it in the comments, right? I'm not available for that. I'm the kind of person, I rather give money than loan money, because I don't want to be looking for nobody. There's a couple of people I will loan money to because they're good for it. You know, you don't ever have to ask them, remind them, chase them down. I'm not talking about that. But as a general rule, I'd rather just give it, right? And when I don't want to give it, I just say, I don't have anything available for that right now. Right? I'm not saying I don't have no money. I'm not saying I'm broke. I'm not saying it's tight. All of that language that works in reverse, I just don't have it available for that right now. Right? All right. I'm not available for that. I am ready to begin. Right? I need rest. I need to take the next step. I'm ready to take the next step. All of this is moving you forward. Have you ever, answer me in the comments, have you ever slowed yourself down to walk the pace of someone else that didn't think like you, didn't move as quickly as you, didn't have the insight you have? Talk back to me. Have you ever slowed your pace down or made choices or decisions just so that you could keep up with other people? Yes, Amanda. I'm not available with that. Reese said I threw my shoe. Yes. Tell me the point you threw your shoe at, Reese. When you did the victory lap, you threw your shoe. I love y'all. Yes, I'm not available for that, Amanda. Yes. All right. So I need time to respond, right? I will take the next step. I remember having to tell a partner, listen, I cannot die because you refuse to live. Come on now. That was truth. We may have to disconnect. We may not be able to work together. But if you refuse to cooperate with God and cooperate with your destiny, I can't sit here and die. Like the leaper said, why sit here till we die? Let's get up and go in the city and see what's there. I'm talking about being honest with your sass, your strongest, authentic, spiritual self, walking in that sass and taking the truth. So that sacred pause is going to allow you to make honest choice that says, watch this, in this moment, the truth matters. Can y'all just talk back to me and be honest? How many times have you glossed over the truth, moved from the truth, did not choose in your own interest to satisfy other people, and then tell yourself, this is the last time I'm doing this now. I'm not doing this no more. But when it comes around again, you do it again. Right? Talk back to me. We've done this over and over again. Yes. Yes. Yep. When you wanted to run. Yes, yep. When you wanted to run. Yes, I definitely modified myself, my wishes and desires to accommodate others' ways too many times. I'm telling you, you my sister, Reese, for real. I've done this more times than I care to acknowledge, but that's over. That's why we're here. We're breaking up this fallow ground. As I'm transmitting, your cells are recording this. 6 months from now, a year from now, it's going to come back. It's going to come back exactly when you need it. Okay, point number 3. Let me move on here. What happens when you pause? And then you make a choice based on the truth of your new identity that's not yet familiar. Saying that the people may not feel comfortable to you, but what do we affirm? I am now comfortable with what's not familiar or what's unfamiliar. All right. So every aligned choice based on truth that aligns with your new identity, that's what I mean by aligned choice, becomes new evidence. This is important. Write this down. Every aligned choice becomes new evidence for your authentic identity. Because remember, the old identity have all this practice, all this experience, right? That we talked about earlier. Your new identity don't have a lot of evidence. It doesn't have a lot to run reference with. But every time you choose honesty based on your authentic identity, evidence shows up. Now, I heard someone say this. I don't remember who said it, but I grabbed it. I loved it. I worked it. And I'm sorry I can't give you proper credit, but the universe knows, right? Speaking of evidence and working with your RAS, your reticular activating system, that is the part of the brain that filters out and throws things away that you don't focus on or that's not important, right, Lisa? We know about this, right? We're fans of what we watch together. And when we spend a couple of months or 3 months, 5 months went by and we haven't talked about a certain show, we can't remember the name of the characters. We can't. Why? The reticular activating system start pushing that out because we're no longer focused on that and start pushing it out. But what you want to start doing, perk up and hear this because I'm going to hit it and keep moving. You want to train your RAS to start gathering new evidence based on your new identity. That every time you make a choice based on your new identity and evidence shows up, okay, I'm in the right place. Okay, this is working. Okay, yes, I told the truth. I made a choice from truth. Look at all this that opened up. I want you to just say evidence. Next 24 hours, start noticing evidence of your new identity. Your new power, your new grace, your new authority playing out. Just say evidence. Let it go. Don't explain nothing. Just say evidence. And you start training the RAS. All I want to focus on now is evidence of my new identity. Evidence I am a multi-millionaire mentor. Evidence that I'm in a loving, beneficially relationship. Evidence that I'm living an amazing life. Right? My quality of life is amazing. I want the evidence. So every aligned choice becomes evidence for the authentic identity. Oh, my time is up, right? So now, every time you choose Alignment gives you evidence. Listen, this is what you start reaffirming, and I'm going to close here. You start anchoring in your spirit, in your cells, in your emotions, and your brain, in the subconscious dimension. You start anchoring, I could tell the truth and remain safe. See, the old identity will make you think, if I don't people please, if I don't shrink, if I don't overgive, if I don't overextend myself, I'm not safe. Nobody's going to want me, whatever the case may be. But when you start paying attention to the evidence of what happens every time you tell the truth, now you're reinforcing, I can tell the truth and remain safe. Safety is important because you will never take action or transform beyond your safety zone. I done gave y'all a whole 3 pages of notes today. Listen, I could say no and still belong to myself. Because many times when we say no and don't mean it and explain it away and end up doing it, you're giving yourself away. You're slapping yourself down, right? I can choose rest and still be worthy. Grinding, hustling, working yourself into the ground as the 80%ers do, God bless them, that's their thing. But for highly sensitive people, that's not for us. You can choose to rest and still feel worthy. We don't buy into the narrative that sleep is for suckers, right? I can be visible. This is a big one for those of you that have a vow of invisibility like I had in the past. I can be visible and still survive. People can see me. People can scrutinize me, judge me, criticize me, and I can still survive, right? I can honor my calling one step at a time, and I don't have to keep up with the Joneses. My ministry don't have to look like anyone else's. I don't have to talk like everyone else. I can be authentic in what I'm here to do and love it. That evidence is what will stabilize your new identity. So when the old identity pulls, pause, make an honest choice, and then look for the evidence. Because aligned choices may feel unfamiliar before they feel natural. Deep breath in and exhale. All right, so your action for this week, I want you to take 24 hours and just focus on pausing, making a choice based on truth of who you are now. Look for the evidence. 24-hour loop, look for evidence. And every time you see something coming into alignment, synchronization, just say evidence, all right? Let me check the comments, what y'all got to say. Any thoughts, questions, any other comments, feedback before we go today? I am here for you. Yes, Amanda, I love you too, so much, so much. Evidence, I have been asking for evidence every night before I sleep and the past few days. Yes, evidence. Did that always, when I talk about evidence, this is how things are ingrained in the subconscious. I cannot talk about evidence without remembering the Honorable late Frederick K.C. Price. Because his program used to come on and the theme was evidence. Evidence. Does your life show enough evidence? Evidence. Evidence. What does your life say? That was way back in the 80s, right? But what does your life say? Start asking for that evidence and that proof. And when you see it, just say evidence to train the reticular activating system. This is what I want to see. I want to see more of this. And then that sends the message to the subconscious, oh, she's really wanting to see more evidence that she's walking in her truth. All right, lovelies. Sow seed if you so desire. You know where to go. YolonaSanders.com. Have a blessed, wonderful, and amazing rest of your day. Let me just check again because sometimes I sign off and then I see questions. Right, this is my evidence. Yes, Amanda Lee, yes. Listen, beloved, do me this one favor, even if you can't sow a seed, sow the time when we leave come back to the broadcast, rather on Facebook or YouTube. Please like it and leave a comment. Let's boost the algorithm. I'm picking up traction. I'm getting more views, and that's what we want. All right. Love you guys. Bye for now.